Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Friday, October 27th, and today we are moving on to the next piece of armor in the armor of God. We're taking it very deeply. We're looking at how they were made, how they were used, and what the spiritual significance of that is. So back in the time when the letter to the Ephesians would have been written, the most common armor was the armor that the Romans wore, and they were, throughout that whole area. And that helmet of salvation was made of brass or bronze. And anytime you see brass or bronze in the Bible, it means judgment. In addition to the actual helmet, it had a cheek protector, and some of them had a neck protector as well. So I'm not really sure how that judgment ties in, but it definitely ties in. The helmet covers your head, which protects your brain. So the helmet of salvation is all about that assurance of knowing that you are saved. It's that I know what God has done. Nobody can convince me that God has not done it. I know what I know, what I know. It was worn in battle. And the interesting thing about the Roman armor is it was the very last thing that they would put on before going into a battle. It was probably also the very first thing that was taken off at the end of the battle. Now, spiritual battles, we're constantly in a spiritual battle. So we need that helmet on and constantly. It's not that we're going to put it on at the very last minute when we're leaving our house. We've always got to be aware of that because we are very susceptible to doubt, to insecurity, and to jealousy. And demons will use that every chance they get. As I said yesterday, one of a demon's biggest tactics is to try and convince you that God is holding out on you and that there's something better, that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, and that if you turn away from God, you're going to have it better than what you already do. Be aware of that and be aware of the fact that that's an assault that's hitting you right in the helmet. If you don't have a helmet, you're going to fight anyway, but you're much more vulnerable. And you're going to be more susceptible to those attacks. You're going to have those assaults to what you know and what you are sure of more dramatically. If you've got that helmet, you know what you know, and you don't let anybody shake that. You don't let any demon shake that. You are much more protected. Now, on gotquestions.org, I found some really interesting information. Not only was the helmet vital for survival and protecting the brain, but the brain is the command station of the body. It's where we choose our responses. It's where we choose our actions. It's where our thoughts and feelings generate from. It all comes from that brain. So there's a lot of things we can do to keep this helmet in place. And once again, this is coming from gotquestions.org. First of all, we renew our minds. We keep our nose in that Bible. We let God continually wash us in that truth. Remember, that truth is the very center of the armor, and a lot of the pieces of the armor were attached to that belt of truth. We got to recognize those doubts when they creep into our brains and abolish them in Jesus' name. We got to make sure that we're pushing them to the side, that we're not going to pay attention to it. We're keeping our eyes focused on Jesus. We've got to keep an eternal perspective. We've got to be aware of the fact of the role that we play as followers of Christ, and that we are working towards that eternity. We're not living in the moment, and yeah, today may stink and things aren't going well, but where does it fit within that eternal value? We keep our hope on Him. In Psalm 73:25, it says, "Whom have I in heaven but you? Besides you, I desire nothing on earth." Nothing is more important than our relationship with Jesus Christ. And we need to know that and keep that perspective. Keep it, and when you keep that perspective, the things that we're going through, yeah, they may feel like a very big deal, but when you keep that eternal perspective, it's not so big a deal. It's a lot easier to deal with. Today is Friday, so I'm going to remind you there's no video tomorrow, and I'll be back with you on Sunday. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.